And again, as you look ahead to the bottom of the ninth, if somebody gets on, McGuire will bat. He's due fourth in the inning. And it looks like we're heading there. J.D. Drew coming on. He'll make the catch. No score to the bottom of the ninth. Atlanta's got the 8-game winning streak. We'll see if it will continue at least to extra innings. That has been Mr. Late Inning Excitement since coming over from the New York Mets in the trade for Sean Dunston. Let's see if he can start something here against a man who's allowed only one hit all day. A very close call at first base, an infield single by Edgar Renteria.
And you say, why Paquette in a 0-0 game and not a lefty off the bench? It's because he's been hitting extremely well. He's been hitting for power. He's got 5 home runs since he's come over from the Mets. And he's actually hitting right-handed pitchers better than lefties. 333 with 3 home runs right-handed. Against left-handed pitching, he's only hitting 217. So Tony's going for the win right here on one swing of the bat.
And if he doesn't get it here on one swing, if he can just get one base runner, McGuire due fourth in the inning. Fastball outside, 2-1.
Well, Millwood's trying to stay away from Paquette's power. Now, Paquette's the guy that came up with the Oakland A's, and La Russa had him in Oakland. He was a guy that was a pull power hitter. You could really pitch him with breaking balls away and fastballs away and get him out.
Slammed into center, a base hit. Cardinals fans may look at Paquette, Kevin, and see a super sub named Tom Lawless from a decade ago. Lawless was coaching Paquette earlier this year, coincidentally, at the Mets AAA affiliate in Norfolk, Virginia.
Well, that pitch we just saw was away, and that's the pitch that Paquette used to have trouble with. Not anymore. He had some good minor league years. Millwood staying with his strength. Goes fastball away. It was down. Good swing by Paquette. Locked right in on the ball. Head down. Good finish.
The bunt. Back to Millwood. Trying it at second base. And he got him. Renteria takes over for Paquette as a runner at first.
And that may not be all that bad because Renteria has 28 stolen bases. Good fielding pitcher for Kevin Millwood. Quick release, throws a strike to Hernandez at short to get the lead runner. No sacrifice.
Now let me ask you this. There's a guy at first base with 28 stolen bases. Do you send him with J.D. Drew up and McGuire on deck?
I think you pick your spots. J.D. Drew also has a big hole over there on the right side because they have to hold Renteria on. J.D. has a good eye at the plate, so I think you wait and go deep into the count. If you get a good running count because Millwood's been throwing strikes, then you put him in motion. Not necessarily a straight steal. You put him in motion as a run and hit play. The thing you don't want, of course, is a double play from J.D. Drew if you're the Cardinals. J.D., if he makes it out, he wants to make it in the air. Get down and through the ball.
Fastball missing. Drew was the first Cardinal to reach that in the 4th inning. That on a walk. That's the only walk so far by Kevin Millwood.
I think if this count goes to 2-1, you've got to put somebody in motion. I think Renteria will be in motion because Millwood is not going to want to go 3-1 to J.D. Drew, especially with McGuire on deck. So this is a very important pitch right here. 1-1.
Towards center field, Andrew Jones comes under it. He's got it, which leaves it to McGuire. 2 out, no score, bottom of the 9th inning. And how sweetly ironic that it is McGuire in a scoreless game with the avalanche of offense in baseball. The fans here today acting like nothing is about the sweetest nectar they've tasted in a long time.
And now if you're Renteria, you make sure you stay right on the bag at first base. You're not going anywhere. Because obviously if you steal here, McGuire gets walked. So get about 3 feet off the bag and let McGuire do his thing.
In the air, center field. track. And he's got the rainbow to end the inning. 0s through 9. McGuire just missed, and we'll play the 10th in a moment.
Inside the ball right here, just off the end of the bat instead of the sweet spot right there. Difference between a long home run and a tie ball game.
It's been a game of missed it by that much. We saw the no-hit bid end barely with a close play at first base. We saw a perfect game bid end before that with a close call at the plate on a walk. Here's Rick Croushore taking over for Darren Oliver. Oliver, of course, going the full 9 and had a 4-hit shutout, but will get a no decision. Jose Hernandez takes strike 1. Hernandez with a pair of doubles today. A third of the hits in this afternoon's ball game.
Yeah, 2 doubles, 1 to right center as a blooper and 1 straightaway right field that short hopped the wall in right.
This time a weak ground ball to Kennedy. Quick bobble. No problem. By the way, this copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Commissioner of Baseball and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without express written consent.
Well, 9 innings for Darren Oliver, 9 good innings. Tony La Russa has to be happy with that. And now into the bullpen. Croushore throws a fastball in the low 90s. He's got a good slider. And his real out pitch, particularly against left-handed hitters, is a screwball that he'll throw. That's why he gets left-handers out actually better than right-handers. Lefties only hit 208 versus righties 258.
Brian Hunter peels one foul. The count 2-1. Now the Braves, maybe a testament to their overachieving this year with all those injuries. Again, how strange it would use the word overachievement with the Atlanta Braves. Maybe an off spin of that 12-4 extra inning record. The Cardinals are 7-3. And if you want to pin that on the managers, well, you've got a couple of guys with about 1,500 big league victories to back it up. Tony La Russa has surpassed 1,500. Bobby Cox at 1,499. And what a way to get to 1,500 if the Braves end up pulling it out today.
Well, a close ball game yesterday. 1-1 going into the 9th yesterday. The Braves win that ball game 2-1. So we've seen good pitching here in St. Louis.
And at Yankee Stadium, too. They're 1-1 in the 7th inning. Mariners and the Yankees today. Deep drive in the left field, but back goes Ray Lankford. Calling off J.D. Drew. We have seen 2 runs on the Fox airwaves nationwide today. None of them here in St. Louis.
Tony La Russa's got that bullpen going. He wants to really win this ball game. Little mix and match right behind Rick Croushore. Ryan Klesko, this is the guy that Croushore will throw that screwball to. Turn it over, it'll fade down and away. Starts him with a 93 fastball. Now Klesko is checking out the scouting report. It's Pat Corrales, the bench coach right there with Klesko. Say, hey, what do we got on this guy? Well, you got fastball, slider, screwball. And a good fastball.
Not a lot of right-handed screwballers in the game.
No.
Jim Messier of Tampa Bay throws one. Mike Marshall used to throw a really good one.
And we just saw one right there, that 83 miles an hour. That's a screwball, fades down and away. Obviously, with Eddie Perez on deck, Croushore doesn't want to let Klesko go deep on him. Another screwball.
And he walks him.
A lot of respect the last 2 pitches. 2-0 screwball, 3-0 screwball. Take your base.
Lance Painter now in the bullpen for the St. Louis Cardinals. That, by the way, the only 3rd walk of the afternoon.
Here's a screwball, Rick Croushore. Watch the movement going down and away right there. The bottom just falls out. Tough pitch to hit for left-handers. course, 3-0. Plesko saw the scouting report, knows what Croushore has, and laid off of it. Takes the walk.
Beaten on the ground foul. The count 0-2 to Eddie Perez. We have seen only one runner at third base today. That was Gerald Williams back in the third inning. Remember, he got there when he stutter stepped his way towards second on a pickoff. Mark McGwire with the errant throw for the day's only error.
If you're thinking stolen base with Plesko, he does have 4 of them in 6 attempts.
Towards center field, J.D. Drew is under it. He grabs it. Still scoreless in the 10th. Fox Sports, home of the 1999 American League Championship Series, returns after star date August 28th. Kevin Millwood boldly going where he has never gone before. He is into a 10th inning of work for the first time ever as a big leaguer, and he gets Ray Lankford here. Scoreless in the 10th inning. And thank goodness it is Castillo, not Perez.
I was waiting for one of those.
Wearing the catcher's cap.
Yes, those are fun.
You've had all kinds of nice flashbacks today.
Oh, I did. Got a baseball and a red hand. And a lot of fun.
Man on the right trying to join the man on the left as the owner of 1,500 big league victories. Bobby Cox at 1,499.
Well, most managers today go by pitch count and not innings, and Millwood starts this inning with only 106 pitches, and that's why he's back out there for the 10th. Cox sees no reason to change. Still throwing 93 miles an hour and has been hitting his spots extremely well. However, he has protection. Mike Remlinger, the left-hander, Russ Springer, the right-hander.
2 balls a strike to Ray Lankford. And with Atlanta a couple of years ago, if you had been told that Greg Maddux was going to start out as he started out this year and then get hurt, that John Smoltz would be pitching with a bad elbow, that Denny Nagel wouldn't even be on the team, that they would still be just fine when it comes to depth in the starting rotation, I guess you hadn't heard of Kevin Millwood yet.
That's right. You win 17 games like he did last year, it's no fluke. I'm talking about Millwood. We know that what Maddux, Glavine, and Smoltz can do. And lefty Bruce Chen's kind of been a highly touted guy that hasn't really come along yet in the big leagues, but he will. Hasn't pitched yet like they would like him to.
And St. Louis, meantime, has gotten Rick Ankiel up to the big leagues. He's the stud that they're hoping will carry them on into the next millennium. Lankford down on strikes. Kevin Millwood into the 10th inning. Registers another strikeout. That's number 8.
Goes up the ladder on Ray Lankford with fastball, 93 miles an hour. Big swing by Lankford. Take a look. Trying to go down and away. Ball left out of the heart of the plate, but it was up. And Lankford couldn't get to it. Right underneath it. You know, we've talked injuries. We've also haven't talked about Odalis Perez, who is out. The left-hander that was doing well for the Braves starting this year. A lot of pitching depth.
Something every other organization craves. The Braves have had it in bulk really since the beginning of the decade. 0-1 the count to McGee. 0-2 the count to McGee. 92-mile-an-hour heat.
You know, the Braves have a guy in the minor leagues named Guy Hansen that helped guys in Kansas City like Brett Saberhagen, David Cohn. Very good mechanical pitching coach. And he's kind of the specialist along with Leo Mazzoni up here, of course, in the big leagues. So those minor league guys really get first-hand instruction. A lot of one-on-one instruction from Guy Hansen.
And you mentioned Leo Mazzoni, too, who washed out as a player at the age of 26. Current Orioles front office man Sid Thrift was the guy that suggested he try coaching. Mazzoni didn't want to hear it. He called Sid every name in the book, but eventually gave in. Now is one of the best pitching coaches in baseball. And McGee is down on strikes. That one fluttering in there at just 76 miles an hour. A 9 strikeout, 2-hit effort for Kevin Millwood, and it continues here in the 10th inning.
Big curveball from Millwood. Did this last at bat to Willie McGee. Got him on a curveball. Gets him again. This pitch right here. Watch the movement. Straight down. Right over the top. Outstanding curveball.
Third consecutive strikeout for McGee this afternoon. And it brings up Fernando Tatis, who is capable of winning it with a home run. He's got 26 home runs and has driven in 90. The funny thing is, too, Kevin, Texas traded him away because they figured he couldn't hit home runs. They thought he'd be a serviceable RBI guy, no question about that, but they figured his was more of a double stroke.
You're absolutely right. And Texas traded away their power third baseman, Dean Palmer, to Kansas City to give Tatis a chance in the big leagues, and they were used to seeing 35-40 from Palmer.
That ball stroked to right and tracked down by Gerald Williams to get us to the 11th. Zeros abounding in St. Louis. 6 hits combined through 10.
Camcorder, $400. 3-hour tape, $7. Extra battery, $25. Home movies with Hank Aaron and Willie Mays, priceless. Use your MasterCard and you could win 4 tickets to a '99 World Series game and sit with baseball's legends. There are some things money can't buy. For everything else, there's MasterCard.
The romance.
Oh, you sweet old broad, I love you.
The Family Guy season premiere, Thursday, September 23rd on Fox.
Braves and the Cardinals into the 11th inning. And Kevin Millwood, with 10 innings of 2 hit shutout baseball, is going to be done for the afternoon. Coming up to lead off this inning was his spot in the order. Keith Lockhart has moved into the on-deck circle. Just a tremendous job by the youngster Kevin Millwood, and he was matched 0 for 0, donut for donut by Darren Oliver, who went 9 today. We now play into the 11th inning, no score.
Tommy's saying, hey, you pitch like I do. 2 Cy Young awards.
And of course the Braves in a pennant race for the first time in a while, and you talk to a lot of these pitchers, the Glavins, the Maddoxes, they say they're into it. Here's Greg Maddux.
Right now we're playing the game to get to the playoffs, and I think you see guys having better at bats. I think you see the defense is crisper behind you as a pitcher. Guys are more excited when they come to the plate. Guys talk more now. You know, guys prepare a little bit better than they did in years past. And I'm enjoying it. I really am.
Willie McGee, of all people, in right field. They know him. They love him. He dropped a fly ball from the pinch hitter Lockhart. And Lockhart at second base will now leave for the former Cardinal, Brian Jordan. He will pinch run as we get things going with that Willie McGee error in the 11th inning.
He's calling the ball all the way. He goes for the basket catch and just hits him off the heel of the glove. Adam Kennedy had it at first. Willie calls him off, as he should. The outfielder coming in always has priority over the infielder going out, and Willie just dropped it. At first there was a little hesitation. It looked like Kennedy had the ball, then the ball carried further out, and Willie called him off. Did the right thing there. Just dropped the ball.
And again, Brian Jordan will pinch run. Willie McGee, a 3-time Gold Glover.
That's only the second error Willie McGee has made all year long. Played 108 games.
What a time for it. Williams drops down the bunt. Kraushaar scrambles after it and gets Williams at first, but Jordan scoots to third. Again, just the second time we've seen a runner at third base all day. And it'll be Brett Boone with a chance to cash him in.
Well, that's a perfect bunt. You try to make the third baseman feel the ball, leave his position. And if he doesn't feel it, you want to make it soft enough so the pitcher has to cover. And that's exactly what he did. Pitcher's got it. No chance at third base. And gets the out at first base. Right here, you try to make Tatis come in. Tatis hesitates, doesn't know where to go. Got to make sure you get an out somewhere. And Tatis wasn't even back at the bat, so no play there.
And the infield in two now to the edge of the infield grass. Got to cut down that runner at third, Brian Jordan. Up and in. So the two-base error by, of all people, Willie McGee. That opens the inning. Then the sacrifice score at 1-4 off the bat of Gerald Williams. Boone, nothing for 3 today. He's been hit by a pitch. And remember, it was Brett Boone that had the game-winning hit late in the game yesterday. Top of the 9th is when he got it done.
How about that screwball right there? After a 93 fastball at your head, he comes back with a screwball down in the dirt. You can bet he's going to throw that again. Nope.
Game with the fastball, 2 balls, 2 strikes.
I would have lost it. I don't take a chance there. If you see a guy chasing a screwball like that and you go fastball up is a fly ball pitch, and right now you need a ground ball or a strikeout.
But you're right, the strikeout pitch might be the Scrooge. And there it was. Boone is out of there. 2 down in the inning.
At least when he threw the fastball, he threw it up out of the zone. Now back to the screwball. Look at this grip right here. The 3 fingers going to turn this ball over. Good wrist action. Take a look at Castillo. That's what he sees. Starts the knees. And finishes up right around the ankles. Big pitch.
And again, Chipper Jones, the old Chipper Jones, you say, hey, turn him around. Let him bat as a righty. Not this year. Braves nothing for 5 with runners in scoring position today. Leaning on the right man here to change that.
Well, with 2 bases open, you can't let Chipper now beat you on a fastball. Croucher has a good fastball at 92-93, but his out pitch is that screwball. Well, he's got a chance to pitch around him, and that's what he's doing right now, 2-0. He does throw the screwball. You want to drop it in the dirt right here. Chipper doesn't chase it. Ends up walking, so be it.
3 balls and no strikes. That one didn't miss by much.
You might as well throw it again, 3-0. That's what he did against Klesko. Last inning, he went screwball 3-0.
They'll go ahead and put him on.
Well, that's the right thing. 3-0 count. You got Andrew Jones coming up. You get a new count.
But you've also got a man with a 14-game hitting streak coming in today. Andrew Jones has been terrific. Today, however, against Darren Oliver, a strikeout, a flyout, a lineout, and a bounce out. There is literally nothing left for him to do but get on base here.
Andrew's a good fastball hitter. Now he's susceptible to the off-speed stuff. The screwball and the slider.
Strike 1 from Croucher.
Screwball.
Willie McGee has got to be hoping more than anybody Croucher can get out of it. And especially with that screwball, the pressure maybe shifts a little to the catcher now, Mr. Castillo.
Well, Castillo's so good defensively, that won't stop him from calling that pitch. He blocks balls well, sets up well. You can't worry about him dropping a ball in the dirt. You got to be able to block it for him with the game on the line.
Fouled right back. 1-2 the count. Jose Hernandez would be next, and in the Cardinal 11th inning, bottom third of the order due.
Well, he's got him set up now for the screwball after a fastball up and in on the hands. Andrew fouls it back. Now's the time to drop that screwball in the dirt.
Left it up, and it's tagged but fouled down that left field line.
Well, you've got that right. That was the screwball, but not in the dirt. 1-2. I mean, you've got to make sure it's down. Bobby Cox thought he had one there. Hanging screwball.
Getting away with one there, huh?
Exactly. Watch the movement. Turns it over. Watch the movement coming right into the hitter right there. That was a flat screwball. Like a flat slider going the other way.
Again down the left field line, and again foul.
Bobby going through some signs. He knows that they're trying to get Jones out with off speed. Andrew Jones, that is. So they may put Chipper in motion, get some action going here. Open up a hole if Andrew Jones makes contact on the infield. Even though Castillo throws out close to 60% of the runners.
To left field in play. Exhale, Willie McGee. It is still scoreless. And the Cardinals can win it in the bottom of the 11th after this.
So what you're saying is you can't change your oil every 3,000 miles because you're too busy. So you put
You know, they'll animate us.
I'd be ridiculous.
Somebody threw away a perfectly good pair of eyeballs.
Folks, live from Del Mar, the NTRA champion. The series heads for home in the series finale. General Challenge leads the field in the Pacific Classic. Don't miss thoroughbred action live next Sunday at 5 Eastern, 2 Pacific, right here on Fox. Our little personal horse race today, getting on into the bottom of the 11th inning, no score. Obviously a home run derby. Holding steady, 53-51. Sosa over McGuire. Mike Remlinger, the lefty, takes over for Kevin Millwood. He was lifted for the pinch hitter in the 11th inning, top of it. Remlinger did get into the game yesterday through 15 pitches. And Remlinger, not the only lefty in baseball, Kevin, who struggled for years and suddenly put it all together. Jeff Fassero, then of Seattle, a good example. Ron Valone this year for Cincinnati. Sometimes it just takes a guy a little bit longer.
Well, Mike got hurt early in his career. He was drafted by the San Francisco Giants originally, along with guys like Trevor Wilson and Eric Gunderson, 3 lefties, and Remlinger got hurt right away. Always a big prospect with a good arm. And now has been a very big addition to the Atlanta Braves.
Ground ball to third. Chipper Jones throws out Castillo. Well, the only hit for the St. Louis Cardinals since the 6th inning was from the pitcher's spot in the order.
Talking about Mike Remlinger with the Giants. He became the 37th major leaguer to pitch a shutout. His big league debut, 4-0 over the Pirates as a member of the Giants back in '89.
Adam Kennedy, the rookie, fouls one back. Yeah, Remlinger out of Dartmouth, played his college ball for the Dartmouth Big Green. Also an economics major, which also has to do with Big Green. Flair had to play it 0-2.
I think I said '89. I think his debut was in '91, but he was a huge prospect for the San Francisco Giants.
Just missed. Down and outside. We go to 1-2 on Kennedy. Speaking of fine prospects.
Mike Easler, new hitting coach for St. Louis. Last year was coaching independent baseball in the Atlantic League.
On the ground foul. Yeah, Mike Easler. They've had some pretty good hitting coaches come through here. Dave Parker. We've talked about Don Baylor, who of course is now the hitting coach in the other dugout for Atlanta.
Well, Mike really is the guy that helped Mo Vaughn in Boston learn how to hit the left center field. Keep his hands inside the baseball.
Inside and hit him. And the winning run gingerly trots down to first base. Joe McEwing is going to come up and pinch hit as Remlinger dusted it. Adam Kennedy with a 1-2 pitch.
You can't get your hands inside that ball. It's right at him. That Remlinger trying to come in. No. But he turned the right way, turning into the play, as opposed to some guys who open up and expose their face. You want to turn in toward the catcher when a ball comes at you like that. That's what Kennedy did.
Well, the Cardinals with just 2 hits in their last 17 innings. Leave it to McEwing. And he slashes it out of play.
Well, Joe McEwing, you said it, he is a slasher. He'll hit the ball to left field, left center, right field. Tough guy to defend. Hits the ball all over the ballpark. He'll hit it where it's pitched. There's a nice hole in the right side, because Hunter has to hold on to Adam Kennedy.
Pitching out, but nothing happening. Kennedy, by the way, did have 20 steals down at AAA Memphis.
Looking at Gerald Williams in right field. He's playing shallow in right. Joe McEwing does not have a lot of power. If a ball's hit to right field, he's got a chance to stop Kennedy from going to third base on a base hit. Take a look, he's in the sunlight right there in right field. Andrew Jones in center always plays shallow. Take a look at the outfield right here. There's Andrew in center. He's shallow. You go around to left. Let's go just a little bit deeper, but McEwing, he goes the other way quite often.
Skies this one and back to second base. Brett Boone, the Gold Glover, called off by Andrew Jones, who puts it away. So McEwing can't get it done, but the Cardinals do roll it up top again. Top of the order, Edgar Renteria. He's got an 8-game hitting streak. And he's a guy that has 2 of the last 3 hits for these St. Louis Cardinals going back to yesterday. Again, the Cardinals did not have a hit at all from Renteria's single in the 4th inning yesterday, all the way through until Renteria's single in the 6th inning this afternoon.
Well, ideally, we'd like to get Adam Kennedy in a scoring position. Tony's going to have to try something here, steal a base. Although Remlinger is very quick to the plate, slide step right there. Even if Kennedy gets thrown out, you've got your leadoff guy, Renteria, leading off the bottom of the 12th.
Blasted foul back to the net. It was Renteria who broke up the no-hit bid of Kevin Millwood today. 6th inning. We play you make the call.
That broke it up. Renteria was called safe. Got the first hit off of Millwood. Then Paquette got a clean single in the bottom of the 9th, pinch hitting off of Millwood.
That's tipped by Remlinger to Boone. He goes the short way and has his man. So the Cardinals do not score. When will it end? We go to the 12th, still looking for the first run of the day. In St. Louis, not only has McGuire failed to homer today, everybody's failed to homer today. We've got no score into the 12th inning. Sammy Sosa getting his day underway. In LA, the Cubs and the Dodgers play ball. The Cubs were shut out yesterday 9-0. Mark McGuire just wishes everybody would shut up in terms of all this home run derby talk. But Tony La Russa says, and he's had Mark McGuire with him in Oakland and here, he thinks that Mark McGuire's pretty much at peace with himself right now.
Got a very special sense of awareness.
and it was prior to coming to St. Louis. I mean, I think he's dealt with so much in his career, ups, great heights, and the adversity of the injuries, missed time, and he's found a place in his mind, you know, where he appreciates the game. He can concentrate on the game. I think he's personally pleased that he followed the 70 with a solid season. I think you could see him early in the season. He was really working hard to get his year going. He did not want to fall on his face, and he's not doing that.
The home runs are climbing from 52 to 58 to 70 to TBA. And again, it almost seems like there's a rather large fraction of the population that will be a little bit disappointed if Mark McGwire doesn't follow up 70 with 70-something.
And the only way you stop McGwire from hitting home runs is to make pitches like Kevin Millwood did today. Off the plate, outside corner, nailing his spots. So you just can't make any mistakes off guys like Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa. If you do over the heart of the plate, they're going to take you deep.
Jose Hernandez first ball swinging against Manny Ibar. And it is McGwire battling the glare of the sun to make the catch. Ibar becoming the third pitcher of the day for St. Louis. Darren Oliver went 9. Croushore followed with a couple of shutout innings. Now it is a hard-throwing righty, Manny Ibar.
Oh, Manny Ibar has a two-seam sinking fastball and a hard slider. Mixes in a changeup. ERA at 4.5. Lefties have really given him trouble. They're hitting 320 off of him. Right-handers 239.
And we'll get a pinch hitter. Get a lefty up there. Randall Simon instead of Brian Hunter.
That's exactly what Bobby Cox is doing. He sees the numbers. He knows the scouting report. Saying Ibar doesn't have a pitch to get lefties out. His changeup's not his best pitch. Let's get Simon up there.
By the way, the Braves and the Cardinals have been there, done this. They have played, in fact, into the 13th inning scoreless as recently as a couple of years ago. That in Atlanta. Dave Duncan on his way to the mound. Now we'll see if the Cardinal bullpen stirs again.
Well, it is. You got back-to-back lefties. You got Klesko on deck. They're not going to hit for him. So La Russa makes the decision. Duncan makes the move.
Should be Lance Painter, who comes into the ball game, which continues scoreless in the 12th.
Shoulders the load for the Super Bowl champion Broncos as they prepare for the new campaign and a possible three-peat.
They're unstoppable.
But veteran Warriors Troy Aikman and Emmitt Smith have the Cowboys tuning up to make some noise in the NFC. It's a Fox NFL special. Coverage begins tomorrow at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific.
Second lefty of the day used by Tony La Russa. Darren Oliver, the starter, went 9 innings. Couple of right-handed relievers followed. Now it is Lance Painter.
Well, Lance Painter's in here for one thing. That's to throw that breaking ball to the left-handed hitters he's going to face, which is Simon, the pinch hitter, and then Ryan Klesko on deck. Who does Tony have left in the bullpen? Well, he's got one left-hander. That's Moeller. And he's got his right-handers, Batalico, Acevedo, who threw last night, and then Heathcliff Slocum.
Base is clear, 1 out. Simon takes outside. Darren Oliver went 9 shutout innings for St. Louis. Kevin Millwood one up to me, went 10. Smacked into right field. Willie McGee going back. At the warning track, he'll make the catch. That's as good a cut that you're going to hope for. A lefty-lefty from Randall Simon.
Yeah, this looked like a slider from Painter. 1-0 slider. Simon hit it well. Ball really died out there. Looked off the bat like it had a chance to go out. Take a look at the pitch. That was pretty much straight. Maybe a cut fastball. Supposed to be a cut fastball or slider. It just stayed right down the middle.
Strike one to Klesko, who's gone nothing for 3. Matter of fact, if we don't tell you otherwise, just assume everybody's gone nothing for something. 6 hits in the game total. The Braves' last hit was by their starting pitcher, Mr. Millwood, back in the 8th inning. In there from Lance Painter. And by the way, Kevin, when you look to the bottom of the 12th inning, you know you're going to see that number 3 spot in the order and Mark McGwire.
Well, Painter's pretty much coming in throwing gas, all fastballs. His out pitch, he's got that good curveball to lefties.
2-2-2 out pitch. Strike 3 called. Fresco down on strikes again. McGwire will bat in the bottom of the 12th inning. Fox Sports, home of the 1999 American League Championship Series, back after a word from your local station.
You're watching Fox Saturday Baseball Game of the Week.
On the next Pensacola Wings of Gold, the competition heats up for Colonel Kelly's team during aircraft carrier training.
The flight deck's the most dangerous property on Earth.
It's a fight for Top Gun.
Anything takes your head out of it gets you killed.
A test of friendship.
I'm not going to stand around while you throw your life away. Hey!
Stay out of my face. With life on the line.
I can't get it back. Controls! Eject the jam!
On the next Pensacola Wings of Gold.
Tonight at 6 on Fox 19.
So could Ross's new girl be any hotter?
I'll be the only time I'll ever say this. But did you see the on her?
When did you? How did you get a girl like that? Good question.
Well, maybe she and her friends are just having a con.
Underway in the bottom of the 12th inning. J.D. Drew at the plate ahead of Mike Remlinger. 1 ball, no strikes with McGwire on deck. The Cardinals so far have committed as many errors as they've achieved base hits. That total is 2. McGwire, by the way, in the 9th inning, hit a long fly ball to right center, and it died right around the warning track. Other than that, a couple strikeouts and a foul out today.
Well, McGwire has seen nothing over the wide of home plate. Everything's been off the corners or away from it. Now, Bobby Cox does have his bullpen up. He's got a left-hander and a right-hander. We'll see what he does if Remlinger gets J.D. Drew out.
Little looper towards left field, coming and sliding to grab it is Klesko. Nice play for the first down in the bottom of the 12th inning. Here's Big Red. In there with 51 home runs. Airing it out, trying for 52 to end it and send everybody home.
Well, you know, Mike Remlinger is left in this ball game, Bobby Cox, because he gets right-handers out. They're only hitting .205 with no home runs off of Mike this year.
0-2 to Mark McGwire. Towards short. And McGwire is out. All kinds of possibilities in terms of who wanted to field that ball. They had the shift on for him again. The second baseman Boone was right there with Hernandez. There was a toss of a coin as to which one could scoop it up.
All 5 at-bats that McGwire has had, they've had the shift on like that. He's 0 for 5 now with 2 strikeouts, and he hasn't really seen a good pitch to hit all day. That's the only way you get him out.
One ball, no strikes to Langford. The Cardinals now 2 of their last 53 at-bats going back to yesterday's 4th inning. You wonder if that's a product of the Braves pitching staff entirely, or is this team slumping on Moss?
With the pitches the Braves have made today. I mean, they have just not made mistakes over the heart of the plate, and that's how you're supposed to pitch. And we've talked about good mechanics. All of these Brave pitchers have good mechanics so they can locate their pitches. You have to pitch corners in the big leagues, and they're doing that.
Langford's a believer. He has struck out twice today. Also a couple of fly ball outs. 2-1 the count to him. Nobody on, 2 out.
I mean, look at that. That's right on the outside corner at the knees. And then when you do that and you establish you can hit location, you're going to get the benefit of the doubt behind home plate from the umpire. Eddie Perez, very quiet with the hands. Gives the umpire a good look. Brings it back just a hair. Called a strike.
2-2, fouled right back. We'll do it again.
It's the pitch counter right there Leo Mazzoni has in his hand. Like your setup men to go longer than 30-35 pitches, about 2 innings of work.
Just missed.
Either way, this should be it for Remlinger.
Langford trying to get it to Willie McGee.
The reason you limit your setup guys and your late inning guys to a couple of innings like that, 30-35 pitches, so you can use them tomorrow.
Remlinger does his job. Couple innings in relief of Millwood to take us to inning number 13 without any score at all.
When terrorists tried to steal the world's deadliest weapon, the government put out a call of distress.
Alert 75th Rangers.
Unfortunately,
Andy's ice cream.
they answered.
Give it to me now or you'll be dead within 5 minutes.
It's for you.
This fall, get ready to chill.
You hijacked me with an empty gun!
Yeah.
When this is all over, remind me to kick you!
Cuba Gooding Jr., Skeet Ulrich, Chill Factor.
Are you crazy?
Have been working Mark McGwire tough all day. We proceed to the 13th inning. McGwire really hasn't gotten a sniff other than in the 9th inning when he just missed, ending the ball game in the bottom of the 9th. McGwire has struck out a couple times today. Last time up, he ended up bouncing out.
Well, Remlinger threw everything he had at him. This first one's a little slider right there, down and in. Actually wanted to go away. He throws him a curveball, back door right here, a little breaking ball. Bottom falls out of it. And he goes outside again. Little cut to this pitch, cut fastball. Hits it off the end of the bat. When he tried to paint the outside corner, that's where they've been going with McGwire all day. Kevin Millwood did it very, very well, and now Remlinger. 0 for 5 for Mark McGwire. They haven't even tried to come in to knock him off the plate. They just stayed out there in the outside corner.
We have seen, Kevin, as many hits as we have seen pitchers in this game today. Total is 6 both ways as Eddie Perez takes from Lance Painter, strike 1. Yeah, we've seen 6 for 76 at the plate today. That one, the 7th hit of the afternoon. It's for Eddie Perez, and he'll cut it around first and cruise to second base. It's a leadoff double here in the 13th inning for the Atlanta Braves.
Well, St. Louis, look at Tatis off the line right here. Now, he's got to backhand this ball. If he's guarding the line right here, he doesn't have to backhand. If he's guarding the line, he has to go to his glove side, his left. But Tony La Russa decides, hey, I'm not going to guard the line here. Eddie Perez burned him.
Well, a pinch runner and a pinch hitter now. The veteran Ozzie Guillen takes over at second base. They've got a soft spot for Ozzies in this town, but probably not for Guillen in this situation. At the plate, it's going to be Walt Weiss against Lance Painter.
A lot of managers today will not guard the line in late innings because they figure, hey, a guy can't pull it.
The bunt that McGwire handles. He loops the toss to Kennedy covering. On to third is Guillen. Now remember, the Braves had a chance very similar to this in the 11th inning. Brett Boone came up with a runner at third and just one out. He struck out.
Well, I've seen Bobby Cox squeeze before. He flashed a lot of signs down there. Ed Yost, the third base coach, Giving a sign to Gerald Williams. He goes and talks over to his runner at third base there just to make sure they're all set with the signs.
And perhaps appropriate, Kevin, that it comes to Gerald Williams in this situation, as the Braves have looked for new faces to emerge this year with all the injuries they've had to work through. Gerald Williams may be the breakout guy at the top of the order, setting it all up for the other guys who have followed for him, Chipper Jones and Andrew Jones and company.
Now, Bobby Cox has been extremely happy with Gerald Williams in his play, and now got Dave Duncan, pitching coach of the Cardinals, coming out.
Ricky Bottalico is in the bullpen if the Cardinals want to go get him. It would be Williams, who, by the way, is 1 out of 2 lifetime against Bottalico, facing the right-hander if they make the move. And it certainly looks like he's coming. So the go-ahead run at third base in a scoreless game in the 13th inning. Bottalico against Williams in a moment on Fox. Hey, brother, can you spare a run? 0-0 in the 13th inning, and Bobby Cox ponders what he might be able to do now to counteract the right-hander out of the bullpen. Ricky Bottalico has been asked into the ball game by Tony La Russa. Ozzie Guillen is the potential first run of the game at third base with 1 out. And Bottalico, who has struggled recently, he is going to be called on to take care of Gerald Williams.
Well, right there, 44 walks in 62 2/3 innings. It's a lack of command, and you're going to get hit when you do that. It means you're behind the count an awful lot. Now, Ricky, when he's on, has a great arm. Very live fastball in the low 90s. Slider and a curveball. Tony La Russa's closer in here to try to keep the game right here. Gerald Williams, of course, is a good fastball hitter, a first ball fastball hitter, so should be seeing breaking ball.
In the air to center field. Here comes J.D. Drew. He won't get it, and we've got our first run of the day. First pitch indeed. It's the Braves 1, the Cardinals nothing in the 13th inning.
Well, that's exactly what Williams got, a breaking ball, and you know he's schooled on the Atlanta bench to look first pitch breaking ball. That's why the move was made to bring Bottalico in. They know that Williams is a good fastball hitter. Got a curveball. Gerald went down and got it, dropped it off the end of the bat, found a good spot. Take a look at catcher cam. Albert Castillo. Breaking ball right there.
Gerald Williams, whose nickname with the Yankees was Ice, which we could use a block of this afternoon in steamy St. Louis. It's been a long, hot afternoon. And finally, the first run of the game comes through. You know, Gerald Williams came up in the Yankees system, was always pretty much the other Williams, playing alongside Bernie. But he has asserted himself in the leadoff role here for Atlanta. Something he never really got a chance to do in New York. Big cut and a miss by Brett Boone. And the Braves have been specializing in late magic this year. Then again, so have the Cardinals. Pitching out, thinking something's going on. It wasn't. And Gerald Williams is a threat to be moving. He's already got a stolen base today.
You really saw Renteria move early from shortstop, almost gave that away. I've never seen a shortstop give away the pitch out, but he was breaking to the bag early before the catcher even stepped out.
In the meantime, at the plate, Kevin, Bob Davidson keeping that strike zone pretty consistent. We mentioned this is his penultimate game.
Let's take a look. Castillo trying to freeze this pitch in the outside corner. Open for the call. Just missed.
Runner goes. That's a strike called, and the throw is getting by Kennedy. It was to the bag with the rookie second baseman, and a tip off his glove and get going. On to third is Williams. That's the second time today that he was headed for second base thinking, I'm dead. And the second time that he's ended up standing at third base.
Well, Albert Castillo gets rid of the ball extremely quick. This ball, I think, sank on him a little bit. Castillo, very quick feet. Brett Boone gets in his way.
Now Boone up there hacking, couldn't get it. And he's the second out of the inning, so that's pretty big right there. Batalico coming right back to get Boone.
Now watch Boone across the bag right there. That's why Castillo had to get rid of it and the ball sailed. Had a short stride himself, couldn't get full extension through the ball to throw it with accuracy. But the call was not made by Bob Davidson of interference. You don't have to touch the catcher to have batter interference.
2 down, infield back to regular depth for Chipper Jones, who takes strike 1. Brett Boone, remember, struck out with a runner at third and 1 out in the 11th. He has just done it again in the 13th. So remember that if the Cardinals get the leadoff man on coming up in the bottom of the 13th inning, that leadoff hitter will be McGee.
Take a look at Brett Boone. This is what he did on that throw from Castillo. Watch him go across the plate right here. That's interference. You cannot cross home plate.
Ground ball backhanded by McGuire. Late break to the bag, and another ball that hits off the glove and rolls away. Williams has scored. It is now 2-0. The error will be charged to McGuire. That'll be his second of the afternoon. But it looked like Batalico hesitated before going over there, and then McGuire had to try to lead him with this rainbow toss.
Well, that's exactly what happened. Ideally, you like to give the ball to your pitcher a couple of strides before he gets to the bag, but McGuire didn't have time to do that because Ricky was late getting there. So he led him right to the bag, and Ricky was looking for the ball and the bag at the same time. The ball sailed over his head.
Second error of the inning and the 4th of the afternoon by the St. Louis Cardinals, giving them a rather bizarre line score of 0, 2, and 4. Andrew Jones at the plate now, still trying to move that hit streak from 14 to 15. Big hack, it goes back to the net, 1-2. So now Remlinger online for a victory for Atlanta. Kevin Millwood online for one of the most impressive no decisions you're ever going to want to see. 10 innings of 2-hit shutout baseball. Now this ball is dropped, this time by the catcher Castillo. We'll see if that's going to pass ball. Would not go as an error, obviously, but it is going to be a pass ball to Castillo. So they are almost dropping balls for the cycle here in this inning. Well, second baseman, pitcher, and catcher.
If it doesn't hit the dirt, 100% of the time it's going to be called a pass ball. It hit right off the end of his glove in the dirt. He just didn't get the glove all the way down.
Now, I don't turn and ask you this because you're a former catcher who's probably going to grade it with a somewhat easier marking pen, but a 3.5 hour ball game in 91-degree heat, is that part of the reason that maybe Castillo's dragging right now?
No, I think it's command. I think one thing, he had a short stride on the throw because Boone crossed the plate and there was no call made, and he had to get rid of the ball. And not normally you like to extend your left leg and really finish off your throw where you're bending over the left leg. So when I say short stride, it means he had to stop his stride because Boone was crossing him in front of him, and that's why the ball sailed on him for the error. And also, you know, he's been catching guys with good command. And Batalico's been a little bit high and all over the place. One up, one down. That one just missed off the corner. When you get back there like you're catching in a rocking chair, you can just sit there and the guy's hitting your glove like Darren Oliver did all game. And you got guys that are missing all over the place. It makes it a little tougher.
Well, ever since Batalico came on, things have started to get away. Gerald Williams, the first pitch. He sent it into center field to bring home the pinch runner Guillen to make it 1-0. And in the process of striking out Boone, there was an error. There's been another error and a pass ball since. Now the walk. Which brings us to Jose Hernandez.
And a big lead for Andrew Jones. The Braves have nothing to lose now by trying to get another run here. Let Andrew Jones create some more havoc on the bases.
Pitching out, and it almost sailed back to the screen.
Well, look at the pitch out. I mean, that was like it was supposed to be a fastball and a pitch out. This ball had a cut action to it. Almost was like a slider. Look at the movement on this pitch. It had cut action, and Castillo did well just to save the ball right here. And that's why he's having trouble behind the plate this inning with Ricky Bottalico. Bottalico's all over the place. You really got to be on the balls of your feet as a catcher to try to receive pitches, because you don't know where it's going to go.
On 2-0. A wild cut. 2-1 to Jose Hernandez. And we made this point about Ray Langford earlier. But we should make it about Hernandez too. He's got kind of that all or nothing approach up there. And you don't normally see a middle infielder with 100-odd strikeouts. You do see that with Jose Hernandez. And by the way, when he's playing shortstop and Brett Boone is playing second, you've got a real baseball rarity. That's middle infielders, each of whom are capable of striking out 100 times a year. Those are normally your contact hitters.
And both guys that can hit for a lot of home run power.
That's the positive side of that trade-off. With a home crowd now starting to give it to Bottalico, telling him to hurry up and pitch. Let's go.
Well, Andrew Jones will be in motion here shortly.
There's a strike, 2-2.
Right now is the perfect count, 2-2. Not going to pitch out right here. Bottalico wants to end it right here. So it's a good running count in this situation with 2 outs, 2-2. Perfect count for Jones to take off. Open up a hole in the infield if Hernandez hits it on the ground.
Well, you really don't normally hear, especially from these fans in St. Louis, a home crowd getting on their pitcher like this. Not when it comes to the stall. Fly ball foul out of play. And I guess there's a school of thought, Kevin, that says if you lack a quality move, you make up for it with quantity of move. Keep that guy close however you can.
Well, he's trying everything. The third to first fake, looking over there, stepping off quick.
Jones not going. That pitch down and away, and now you know he'll be going with a 3-2 count. And 2 out. A long top of the 13th inning.
Well, the difference in this count, the infielders will hold their position on a steal, so the ground ball will not create a hole.
To right field towards the corner, and that's going to get out of play. Now the Cardinals in the last of the 13th. Again, they'll lead it off with Willie McGee. Fernando Tatis follows, and the catcher Castillo. And the Braves, remarkably, have given up just 2 hits now to the last 54 hitters they've faced, going back to yesterday. Smashed into left field, base hit, 3-0. What an at-bat for Jose Hernandez. He could have atrophied up there as long as he waited, and he finally got the pitch he wanted. There were 8 pitches, and probably that many throws to first during that sequence, but finally Hernandez comes through with his 3rd hit of the day.
Well, he found a hole on the left side of the infield. Fastball in, ground ball in the right spot. Bottalico is going to be coming out of this ball game.
Well, when he entered it, it was 0-0, and the fans will let him know that when he departs it, it is now 3-0. The defense behind him did not exactly help. Bottalico had a parting comment for the home plate umpire Bob Davidson, by the way, who, we remind you, is perhaps working his second to last game behind the plate ever. He is one of the umpires who just may be dismissed after September 1st. Mike Moeller will be the new pitcher. Now for the Atlanta Braves, who are trying to make this a season-high 9-game winning streak, let's check out what they've got left. We talked about the 6 games against the Mets the last 2 weeks of the season. And we asked, can they beat up on the Floridas and Montreals? They've got to get through that 6-game West Coast trip too in mid-September.
Well, the Atlanta Braves, this is a big game. Every game's big now, but after a great performance by Millwood, to lose this game would be a shame. Not that they haven't won yet, but they're certainly breathing easy with a 3-0 lead and a chance to bring their closer in, John Rocker.
Check out the Mets and how it stacks up for them. They do have a journey that will include some pretty decent teams. Atlanta obviously on that list. Cincinnati, for the record, has the fewest games remaining against teams that are above 500, and the Reds do have just a little bit of work to do. They're 3 back in the wild card and technically a half game back in the NL Central. They've got 2 games at Houston the last week of the season. But there you see it, only 8 games left against teams that are 500 or better. Now for the Astros, here's how it shakes down for them. You see the Phillies pop up both for the Mets, the Reds, and the Astros. The Phillies, even though they've kind of slid out of it, they have a chance to make some misery if they want to go ahead and pick a team, choose who they want to make miserable. Of course, they can make everybody miserable if they start playing well, and if they play well enough, who knows? Mike Moeller, the lefty, is into the game now with 3 runs in the 13th inning.
Ricky Batalico, that first pitch breaking ball to Williams was not a bad pitch. Williams just get it off the end of the bat and dumped it into center field, and after that, everything broke loose.
Well, it was the error that was charged to McGuire, but again, I'm sure if you ask Batalico, he'll tell you he should have had that toss as he was coming to the bag. That allowed the 2nd run to score, kept the inning hot. Only 1 run this inning will be earned, by the way. Strike 1 called to Randall Simon.
It's not often you can go 12 innings in an extra inning game and not have used your closer like Bobby Cox has not done. So he's in good shape with Rocker coming in to the bottom of the 13th.
Towards center field, J.D. Drew loping over and finally lowers the curtain on the top of the 13th inning. 3 runs on 3 hits, 2 errors, and we now go to the last chance for St. Louis.
So what you're saying is you can't change your oil every 3,000 miles because
John Rocker gets into the ball game for the Atlanta Braves, and it is a save situation. A 3-run 13th inning for the Atlanta Braves, and the Cardinals now with some work to do. And remember, they've only got 2 hits going back to the 4th inning of yesterday. 2 hits in their last, what is that, 17, almost 18 innings now of baseball. We'll get you to today's Energizer play of the game. That first pitch breaking ball, Ricky Batalico threw it. Gerald Williams went down to get it to make it 1-0 after about 3 hours of scoreless baseball. And Kevin, it will be John Rocker who runs out to the mound like his uniform's on fire. He is a little hyperactive. Certainly not the first left-hand pitcher to have that trait.
84 strikeouts in 59 innings. That's because this guy throws his fastball in the mid to upper 90s. This guy has an overpowering fastball. Good hard slider, mixes in a curve occasionally. He's going for his 30th save. Been huge this year for the Braves with the loss of Kerry Lightenberg. Taking over the closer role.
And taking over at catcher right now is Greg Myers. It's an all-new battery. Walt Weiss in the game at short. Up and into Willie McGee.
Well, that's the good thing about having Jose Hernandez for his offense. And then when you've got a lead like this, you bring Walt Weiss in defensively to team up with Brett Boone up the middle.
John Rocker grew up in Macon, Georgia, grew up a huge Braves fan. He and his dad, in fact, at Game 2 of the '92 World Series. And they left early to beat the traffic, he said. Hangs a strike to McGee on the corner. So Rocker had to listen on the radio as Ed Sprague hit the game-winning 2-run homer in the 9th. Yeah, John Rocker was still in high school when the Braves were beginning their run of World Series appearances. McGee has struck out for the 4th time today.
Couple of curveballs from John Rocker. Starts him early with the fastball, finishes him out with the curveball. Good grip right there. Willie's seen breaking balls all day long. The bottom drop out of that pitch.
Now Fernando Tatis. Another one of the nothing for brigade today. He is nothing out of 4. Renteria had the infield hit to bust up the no-hitter in a close call back in the 6th inning. Craig Paquette the pinch single in the 9th, and that's been it. And again yesterday closed with 5 1/3 innings of a hitless baseball from the Atlanta pitching staff. Today it's been nearly 13 innings of 2-hit shutout baseball. And 2 quick strikes to Tatis.
2 breaking balls in a row. Kind of slurvy type action. 78, 79 miles an hour. Throwing it for strikes.
Well, the Braves appear to be on their way to a 9th win in a row. That would get them to a big league best, 82 and 49 overall. Which any other year, maybe you shrug your shoulders and say, yes, so what? It's the Braves. Tell us something we don't know. But this year, trying to survive with all the injuries. Bobby Cox will win his 1,500th major league game, it looks like, today. How about that grunt? 2-2 the count.
Well, 94 miles an hour. We've seen him throw 97, 98 at times. Set you up with a couple of sliders, 1 curveball, and a fastball up at your head. Comes back with the breaking ball.
Is that catch awesome or what? I turned around.
3-2 count with a 3-run lead. We'll probably see Rocker go with what he has the most confidence in throwing for a strike, and that's usually his fastball.
Chopped foul. This thing's not over yet. Well, for Tony La Russa, indeed his team can't rally to go to 63 and 67. It kind of puts the staples right there in the pamphlet to tell the story about how it's gone these last couple of years. All the McGuire home run drama, but not a lot of winning baseball. And of course today, McGuire being held not just homerless but hitless. He took an 0 for 5. Sosa underway as the Cubs take on the Dodgers today. He's got 53. Big Mac's got 51. Tatis spanking one towards right. Not exactly going gently into that good night, is it? An 8-pitch at bat. And he's aboard with only the 3rd hit of the afternoon for St. Louis.
Good at bat from Tatis because he fought off a 3-2 fastball and then fought off a 3-2 breaking ball and finally got a fastball that he could hit. Rocker goes right after him, up. Tatis drops it into right field. Watch the location of this pitch. It's just up and out over the plate. Tatis goes right with it.
Long afternoon for this guy. Alberto Castillo graciously wearing catcher's cam for us. Took his pitchers through 12 innings of scoreless baseball. And again, when you talk about catching games in the afternoon in St. Louis or in Texas, for example, there are catchers around the league who will watch on with great admiration. Runner goes. Tatis will not be challenged. He's in there. No stolen base, by the way, just a fielder's choice, but now the game cannot end on a conventional double play.
Well, and the reason is because Brian Hunter not holding Tatis on, because you don't want to create a hole in the infield on the right side where a base hit can bring the tying run to the plate. So they give up the double play chance. He looks changing out for a base right here. Keep your infielders in their positions.
Rocker goes to 3-0. And Adam Kennedy, who made a big error in the top of this inning, waits on deck. There's a strike. What a memorable 1500th victory it would be for Bobby Cox if the Braves hang on. But now the time man comes to the plate.
Well, if John Rocker's had one problem, it is walks. He's now walked 31 men. This is his 60th inning of work, so that's about 4.5, 5 walks per 9 innings, and that's not good for a closer. You want to keep that down to 1 or 2 walks per 9.
Well, you want to start a legend of Adam Kennedy, it would begin right here in St. Louis. If he can cut it one here and tie it up. Infield, however, trying to crush those kinds of thoughts. They're at double play depth. Strike one rammed in there by the closer, John Rocker.
Chipper Jones up even with the bag at third. There's a pretty good hole on the left side of the infield because Weiss is shading up the middle. Right here. Pretty good hole there for Kennedy to go through. Take that fastball and that breaking ball opposite field.
Slice towards the seats, and the count dips to 0-2.
Yeah, as hard as he's throwing, now Chipper can go back and not worry about a bunt. Give him more range to take that ground ball in the hole away now. See Chipper right here. Now he's backing up. And he can go to his left on a ground ball now and take that ground ball from being a single and turn it into a possible double play.
Two strikes. And a defensive 2-strike swing from Kennedy to hang in there. On deck, by the way, Thomas Howard has moved out there. He'd be in the pitcher's spot in the order. And the Cardinals would love to keep this inning hot for Edgar Renteria. He seems to be the one guy who has an immunity to this team-wide slump over the last few days. Punch towards center. Boone won't let it get there. The quick throw back to first is not in time. I'll tell you what, Brett Boone, though he was up in a couple of extra inning pressure situations and struck out both times, in Bobby Cox's mind, just wiped that away with that play.
That's a great play right here from Boone. Looked like a sure single to center field. Not only does he catch the ball, he has the presence to wheel and try to double up Castillo at first base. That's how quick Brett Boone is. One of the reasons the Braves are so tough this year, Boone, defense at second base. We talked about strong up the middle with Boone and Weiss now defensively, and then you got Andrew Jones and Eddie Perez behind the plate. They're very, very strong defensively up the middle.
And the second basemen just keep robbing each other today. Boone on Kennedy. Kennedy has done it to Boone.
That's a huge play. Like a sure single right there, and Rocker, he can get behind the count instead of bases loaded at least, or maybe first and third to run in. You've got 2 outs and a tying run at the plate. Where's the first and second?
Tying man is Thomas Howard, who takes strike one. Take a look at Brett Boone's reaction after that last play.
That's right, headed all the way. And he usually does. Thomas Howard has better numbers from the right side, but Historically, he's a better left-hand hitter.
Ground ball near third. And that tips it down to 0-2 with 2 on, 2 out. Cardinals in danger of losing their 5th straight. A season-high losing streak. The Braves, meantime, get to within a pitch of a season-best 9-game win streak. And continue to apply the pressure to anybody who thinks they can stay in the chase. We've talked about it. There are apparently, it looks like now, 4 teams hunting for 3 playoff spots between the wild card, the NL Central, and the NL East.
And you mentioned earlier, the Braves aren't thinking wild card. They're thinking win the division again. They don't even want to hear talk of wild card.
Towards center. That's going to drop. The bases are loaded. And the winning run will come to the plate.
Well, now how big is that play from Brett Boone? Huge. Thomas Howard is hitting better this year from the right side and does the job again for Tony La Russa. Drops a single into center. Another breaking ball from Rocker. A lot of breaking balls this inning for a guy that throws in the mid-90s. This is a very hittable pitch. Left it out over the plate. Howard drops it into center field.
Give some credit to Fernando Tatis. That terrific at bat he had. The Cardinals, we told you, had been 2 out of 55 in their last 55 at bats. Well, Tatis down 3-0 on a very hot afternoon, long day. His team has just given up 3 in the top of the inning. He fights through that 8-pitch at bat, singles to right, and now instead of 2 out of 55, we can say 2 out of 3. The last 3 at bats now for St. Louis to load the bases and bring up Renteria. David Howard pinch runs for Thomas Howard at first.
Well, it was. Tatis leads their club in hits. And it's at bats like that. He wasn't worried about a long ball being down 3 runs. He was looking to get on base, work the count full, and got the single to right field.
Foul ball by Renteria. He has 6 home runs this year. But what he's been lately simply is hot. He's been singling and doubling at a pretty good clip the last week. He's got an 8-game hitting streak.
And he's aggressive. He's aggressive on the fastball. He's a good fastball hitter.
Well, a ball to the gap ties the game. Now he's down 2 strikes. Rocker, remember, was ahead 0-2 to a couple of these hitters this inning.
Well, Renteria, soft fastball, went after it. A pretty good location. Rocker got the ball down and away. Big Mac just hoping for a chance. He's in the hole.
Both Tatis and Howard were at 0-2 against Rocker. Both of them found a way to come through with a base hit here in the 13th. Can Renteria follow form? Hot shot. No, he can't. Close play. Ball game's over. The tying man left on the bases. The winning run was at the plate in a crazy game in St. Louis today that ends up 3-0 Atlanta in 13.
Well, there's that defense. Walt Weiss in for defense. Ends up making a fine play to end this ball game, feeding to Brett Boone.
The Braves winning streak is 9. Bobby Cox has won his 1,500th game as a big league manager. For Kevin Kennedy, Josh Lewin saying so long from St. Louis, where again your final in 13 innings was the Braves 3 and the Cardinals nothing. Kevin Millwood 10 innings of 2-hit shutout baseball, but the winner is Mike Remlinger. Now we're ready to go to Keith Olbermann and Steve Lyons. They are standing by in LA.
Comes down to